What's up, everybody? I'm Joe Bressler, and I'm a filmmaker based in Brooklyn, New York. Back in April, I had the opportunity to travel to Paris with the Nike SB and Converse skate teams to film some commercial content around a skate shoe that Alexis Sablone designed, who's a pro skater for Converse. It was going to be part of a twin pack collection, which was going to be basically Alexis' shoe and a Nike SB shoe that were sold together. The goal of the shoot was to capture Alexis and both the Nike SB and Converse skate teams skating, hanging out, and I had a pretty short timeline to prepare for the shoot, and on top of that, I kind of was in the process of making the decision of like, am I gonna shoot this myself? What camera am I gonna shoot it on? How am I gonna execute this, and who am I gonna bring with me? So how did I end up pulling it off? The first step for this project, like any project, was to gather ideas and references and create a treatment. I was kind of going for a mix of shots of the team moving around Paris, shots of Paris iconography, and then I really wanted to try some out-of-the-box ideas that I had that involved mounting the camera in interesting places or just doing something that felt a little bit less run and gun and more planned. And to create the treatment, I used one of my friend Noor Niaz's treatment templates, and I also have an interview up on Noor's channel that you can check out, and I highly recommend doing so. I'll link it down below. The key also to a solid treatment is solid reference gathering, and that's where the sponsor of today's video, FrameSet, comes in. FrameSet is an image search engine that contains hundreds of thousands of images from commercials and music videos and feature films. It's a really flexible tool to find references to fill out your treatments, and the most important part of treatments is definitely the imagery to give the prospective client or agency kind of just like the vibe of what you're going for. So FrameSet is the perfect place to find those assets. A big part of this job was deciding what camera to use. I had thoughts of using every camera under the sun for this. I thought maybe the Alexa Mini LF could work. I thought Burano might be a good fit. And then once I decided that I was going to just shoot it myself, I decided on the Sony FX3 because the Sony FX3 was something that I wanted to use to work on this YouTube channel and felt like it made good business sense for me to buy that camera for this job and then not have to deal with like any third-party rental houses or anything like that. And then the other criteria was that I really wanted it to all fit in a backpack and a checked bag. A big part of my prep process as well was creating mock-ups of some of the shots that I wanted to try. The first shot that I really wanted to try was based off of a reference that I found on FrameSet of a camera mounted to the bottom of a skateboard, and I really liked how like wide angle the perspective was and how fast it felt like you were moving. But I also wanted to do something a little bit different and add in a skater doing a kickflip with the camera on the board. Upon Googling it, I realized that just gaff taping the camera to the bottom of the board was the way to go. The other shot was a split screen shot of Alexis throwing the Nike Dunk from New York to Paris. I thought it would be really cool to reference an older Nike ad where they were using a lot of split screen, and I just needed to make sure that it would work. Now that I'd bought all the camera equipment, I'd tested it out, I'd made my mock-ups, I was ready to fly to Paris. And I chose the 8:30 a.m. out of New York, which was a new flight to Europe that I've never seen before, but it means that you don't have to do a red-eye, and for me that's like a pleasure because I really, really hate red-eye flights. I had a lot of time to walk around and shoot some photos and explore the city and eat some delicious food. I'm like so happy when I get to travel to just a different place and just enjoy it. So I was booked for 3 shoot days in Paris, and on our first day we had absolutely stunning weather. We nailed like probably 75% of the shots on my shot list. There were a lot of different moving parts that were going down on the shoot days. They were shooting a skate video, they were photographing Alexis's Olympic uniforms, and there were like 45 people there. When we grabbed the shot of the kickflip with the camera on the board with Louis Lopez, we gaff taped the camera to the board, and I just told Louis to skate around it first just so I could get some kind of like general like cruising shots in case I wanted those, and then Afterwards, I said, just go crazy doing kickflips, and we shot those at 120 frames a second. He did them so good that the camera fell off the board because he was landing them so solid, and we smashed it to pieces. The shot was definitely worth it, and I'm like, I have no regrets asking him to do the kickflip. And at the end of day one, we wrapped up the day with spritzes at the skate spot, which, I mean, I can't ask for anything better than that. I wanted a variety of landscapes of Paris, so we started our day going to get a wide cityscape vista. And then we moved on to the Eiffel Tower because I wanted to get like a real like round fisheye shot of the Eiffel Tower up close. We then took a walk around the Eiffel Tower. We found this intersection that had the Eiffel Tower in the background, but was like a really good way to sort of get a shot of all the skaters like kind of skating across the street with that iconography in the background. The only problem with it was that it was a super busy tourist photo destination, like for obvious reasons. It's just like a really cool shot. So we just had to contend with that. And that ended up being like a really like memorable shot in the film, was them like pushing across the street there with the fisheye. And after we did that shot, we traveled about like 40 minutes outside of the city to this famous skate spot that has like a bunch of colorful ledges that kind of everybody wanted to skate. And then it was also like a really good spot for us to capture B-roll. But it was at that point in the day that I started to feel really unwell. By nightfall, I was totally in terrible shape. I couldn't move, I was so sick. It was food poisoning, I was nauseous, I wasn't able to leave the hotel room or go anywhere at significant distance from a bathroom or eat anything. The next day when I woke up, I didn't feel any better, so I was able to postpone my part of the production actually by a day. Spent the day resting, like trying to drink water, trying to stay hydrated, and just trying to get better. It was pretty awful though. The next day I woke up, we left the hotel for the day and we got some shots of the crew in transit on the subway. And we were going to this plaza spot outside of a mall called Krytel, and it started raining. So we went to a mall that was next to the spot and we hung out for a while waiting for the rain to stop. And we basically just dealt with torrential downpour, sun, torrential downpour, sun, torrential downpour, sun, for like 3 hours. So we used that time to shoot the off-body product shots under a random overhang next to some dumpsters at the mall, which was glamorous, but worked out well. And then by the time we were done with that, we got like a little moment of sun, and we went over to the plaza at Krytel to try to shoot Alexis doing the catching of the shoe in Paris for the split screen. And it just started pouring again. We made the decision to stop off at Republique, which is like the main skate spot in Paris. It was wide open enough. We set up quickly. Believe it or not, it started raining again a little bit, but we just powered through it. We made sure we got the shot.
Perfect out.
This shoot was so much fun, and I literally cannot emphasize enough how much I love traveling to other countries to make films and commercials. But I was reminded at how important health and taking care of yourself is, and I'm super proud of how the piece turned out. I'm really looking forward to whatever the next opportunity to travel will bring, and I'll catch you on the next one.